Good afternoon from the Vienna International Airport, Terminal 3. My name is Scott. I write airline reviews over on SanSpotter.com, and I'm here to catch Air Baltic flight number 375 back to Amsterdam. Although, if you want to get technical, this is actually Austrian Airlines. It is Air Baltic, but it's a code share with Austrian Airlines. Basically what happened is that I purchased a round trip on Austrian Airlines out of Amsterdam to Vienna. Back to Amsterdam, it was all Austrian Airlines, and then I saw this code share flight on Air Baltic on the A220-300, and I thought, why not? As an ignorant American, I didn't really know all that much about Air Baltic before I booked this flight, so curiosity got the best of me, and I couldn't resist. So, yeah, I'm going to be flying Air Baltic business class back to Amsterdam, and I have absolutely no idea what to expect at the time that I was making this video. But that's all right, because to me, that's what makes flying fun. Trying new airlines and new experiences, going into it blind, yeah, it's a pretty good time. If I didn't mention it already, this is the F concourse, which is the European concourse. There are no international flights that go out of here, or at least very few. It's all regional, and it's a very simple terminal, and it kind of sucks when your flight is delayed because there's not much to do. And as luck would have it, my flight was delayed about an hour, and I'll spare you the details, but it was a game of whack-a-mole here near the boarding time, because they kept changing the gate number on us, so they would change it. Everyone would move over there, and then they would change it again 10 minutes later, and then we did that 4 or 5 times, and yeah, it was a pretty good time. So, as you can see, there was no aircraft parked at this gate. This is going to be a remotely parked aircraft, which is fine by me. I love this sort of thing, getting the chance to hop on a bus and drive around the airport a little bit, getting close-up views of all of the aircraft parked on the tarmac, but there wasn't all that much to see on this little drive out. The aircraft was parked relatively close, but we did get a really nice sight of it as we were coming around to the backside. What a good-looking aircraft. To me, the Airbus A220-300 is easily the best-looking commercial aircraft flying right now. Maybe the A350-900 looks pretty good too. I'll give you that, but yeah, the A220-300 is it's a sexy beast indeed. I headed towards the forward boarding door since I was going to be seated up in business class. Got a really good look at this aircraft as I was climbing the stairs, and man, the thing looks so good. I was actually so enamored by this that I momentarily forgot that I was going to be flying business class. I don't know, a good-looking aircraft does that to me for some reason, but yeah, here we are, Air Baltic A220-300 business class. And right off the bat, I thought this was pretty neat because there are only 2 rows of business class on these seats. I was seated in the second row here at the window seat. It is a 2-3 configuration with 10 seats total, so not a very large business class cabin. It's definitely cozy and typical of European business class. Legroom is all right, as you know, these are standard economy class seats, which is typical of European business class. It's a pretty neat seat design, though. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I have no idea what kind of seat this is, but it looks good, and I like the color scheme. The cream and the gray, neutral tones. It looks good. This is nice. And, of course, I really like the fact that the middle seat is going to be blocked, which, yeah. Anyway, you say, Scott, why are you sitting in the aisle seat now? Well, that's a very good question because I did book a window seat, but they switched it on me and I had no idea until the guy with the window seat came on and told me that I was sitting in his seat. So, whatever. I mean, it's a short flight anyway, and all I really care about is the food and getting back to Amsterdam somewhat on time. And wait, what's this? I'm back at a window seat. Yes, I got lucky and the window seat in the bulkhead row, seat 1F, was open. Nobody was sitting there, so you're darn right that I moved up there and took that spot. And wouldn't you know it, these bulkhead row seats are nice. Got that extra leg room there. Much better than what was in the row behind in row 2, so I highly recommend those seats, or at least a seat anywhere in the bulkhead row if you can get it. That's the jam. Speaking of jam, I'm really liking these red pillows. Great for my lower back, actually. And the most interesting thing about that, if you've been paying attention, is that those red pillows come directly from Austrian Airlines. As I said, this is an Austrian Airlines code-share flight. So a lot of this service, even though this is an Air Baltic cabin crew, a lot of the service you'll see on this flight is actually from Austrian Airlines, which is pretty cool. And admittedly, somewhat confusing, and I will say somewhat disappointing as well, because I was hoping for a true Air Baltic experience. But it was pretty obvious that they were trying really hard to blend the lines, or blur the lines between Air Baltic service and Austrian Airlines service, and trying to make it all one thing. I just wish it would have been all Air Baltic. Anyway, beautiful views on our departure out of Vienna, which did a very good job of distracting me before they started the cabin service, which was really good. First up were these wet hand wipes, which might come handy in the bathroom sometime. And I could already smell food cooking even just after we took off. And here it is, Doe & Co. Catering. That was not on my bingo card. I was not expecting this. And this, I mean, everything about this is Austrian Airlines business class. Even the plates that they use is Austrian Airlines. And here I am playing with my food. This was good. I think this was short ribs, like some sort of a brisket over ravioli of some kind. They didn't give us menus. There was only one option on this flight. Take it or leave it. And you're darn right that I took it. It was delicious. Doe & Co. Catering is the best. It's always so good. Restaurant quality. And I tell you what, I think it even tasted better on this flight because all I was expecting was a sandwich. As I said, I knew nothing about Air Baltic business class before booking this flight. I did no research at all. And I don't know. It just seemed like a sandwich kind of flight, if you know what I mean. I mean, think of it. It's an hour and a half on a small European airline. I wouldn't necessarily classify them as a low-cost European airline, but Air Baltic does not get a lot of attention. Nobody mentions them as being a totally luxurious experience, so I was very pleasantly surprised by the meal. Something that didn't surprise me is the fact that there was no in-flight entertainment on this flight. None at all, not even Wi-Fi. So if you want entertainment, you're going to have to look out the window, which absolutely is entertaining on an evening flight such as this. Beautiful light, good view of the engine, the wing. I love those Air Baltic colors, neon green, and yeah, everything about this experience so far is, it is Austrian Airlines, but it is somewhat uniquely Air Baltic. Oh, these little map screens up in the overhead, I don't know, the overhead panel. I have never seen that before. That was kind of cool. A little bit too far away for my old eyes. It was kind of hard to see, but my old legs definitely appreciated all this legroom up here in the bulkhead row. Something else that's worth mentioning, and I can't believe that I didn't get video footage of this, but the cabin crew came through the business class cabin with an after-dinner snack. It was just a Lindor chocolate, basically as many as you could eat. So that was nice, and totally unneeded considering how good the meal was. Oh, this placard thing here was kind of neat. It explained the whole code share thing between Air Baltic and Austrian Airlines, which is nice. I've never seen that on an airline before. And while relatively simple, it was just another little detail that made this flight so good, especially if you combine it with all of the other little details so far. Little details such as the pillows, the food. Okay, maybe the food wasn't such a little detail. That was kind of huge and something I was not expecting. But everything else about this flight, everything that's happened from beginning all the way here to the end, has been impressive. And you know, now that I'm recording this voiceover, it's been about maybe 3 months since I've taken this flight, and I haven't thought about it much since then. And I'm looking at this footage and I'm talking over it and I'm trying to recall my experiences. This just might be one of my favorite flights of 2025 so far, and I've done quite a few of them. I think, just going off the top of my head here, I've done about 30 so far, so that's a lot to compare it to. And yeah, everything was just so good. Anyway, turning back to the facts and the figures, because this is our airline review after all. We landed at 8:20 p.m., which I know it doesn't really look like it in these video clips, but remember, this was summertime. I recorded this in June. And in this part of Europe, the sun doesn't set until about 10:30 p.m., so it's not the middle of the night quite yet. Those of you who made it this far into the video might be curious to know that I do have a newsletter if you want to follow along with my adventures and my unfiltered opinions on the airline industry and all the trips that I take. Soon after I take them, you might want to sign up for that. Link in the description below. And because I'm not on social media much these days, that is the best place to stay in touch with me. Thanks again for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you in the next one.